आई गौरांग भगवान जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। Welcome everyone to this transcendental program of studying Bhagavad Dharma, the highest duty of the humankind. We are studying Sikshastakam, the 8 essential fundamental teachings of Bhagavan Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave the total structure of sadhana, how to attain for attaining the perfection of our human potential. This Sikshastakam, its recitation itself is so unique, and scientifically it is designed to take the sadhaka to the point of ultimate perfection of our human potential, highest perfection of our human potential, because perfection can also have variegatedness categories. So what Mahaprabhu has come to give us, it behooves every one of us that we understand, since we are connected to the parampara, or the teachings and the kripa flow of Mahaprabhu. So if we don't become conversant with the highest gift which Mahaprabhu has come to give, then we may remain underachiever or underperformer, given the facilities and given the information and the arrangement made by Mahaprabhu and his associates. The message is very, very clear, and so we should be very much fascinated, rather, to be able to imbibe the real message or real benediction, or the highest benediction, for which Mahaprabhu has been entitled as Mahavadanya by Rupa Goswami. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namah. So we invoke the blessings of Nitai Gaur Sundar, because whenever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified along with Nityan Prabhu, he becomes, one can feel Mahaprabhu's fulfillment, and one can definitely expect and be sure of additional mercy of Mahaprabhu. So in Chaitanya Bhagavat, the invocation says, Ajanulambit bhujau kanakavadatau sankirtanaik pitarau kamalayatakshav Vishwambharau Dvijavarau Yugadharma Palau Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau. So the most munificent incarnation of Godhead, who in such a wonderful and blissful way inundated the whole world, or at least the human society, or created the possibility for the inundation of the whole human society in the Mela of Sankirtan. So they are the propagators of Sankirtan Yajna. And this is how we remember how he has caused the ultimate good for the whole human society. And we are born as a human being during the time or in the age just following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. So we can consider ourselves very, very fortunate. We can acknowledge the foundation of our this cultivating this this satsang is with this acknowledgement that we are very blessed. Everybody can agree with me. One can acknowledge that one is very blessed. Definitely, nobody should have any objection to this. So now this acknowledgement, not many, uh, especially being connected to the parampara of Mahaprabhu and everything associated with it. So we can definitely acknowledge that we are very, very fortunate. So this acknowledgement does not come for free. It has a inbuilt obligation on the part of each of us. So what is that obligation? We have brought this point previously, but again to reiterate, we can reinstate this acknowledgement and this reminder of our obligation, which is attached to this acknowledgement that we are very blessed. So the obligation is, as all of you must be knowing, that now we have to become fully blessed. There's a difference between being very blessed and fully blessed. So if one has the acknowledgement that one is very blessed, then he has still to strive to become fully blessed and attain the highest perfection of his human potential. And what is the simplest definition of being fully blessed? That we have to become a pure devotee of Srimati Radharani. We have to become a pure devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Radharani and Shyamsundar combined. Mahaprabhu Sri Gauranga. Maha stands for Mahabhava Swarupa Srimati Radharani. And Prabhu means Krishna. So Mahaprabhu Sri Gauranga Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So with this motive and also the motivation in our thought, our path is not unmotivated, because our motivation is for that particular thing. Anything other than that, we should become free from. But the motivation, the abhilasha, the lalasa, the hankering to attain the maid servanthood of Srimati Radharani, that should be the only aspiration. And Rupa Goswami says, Anya bhilashita shunyam. Anya means others. One has to become free from all other aspirations except this Radha Dashyam. Then we are on the right track and we will cultivate a collective fervor, develop collective fervor, that we get pulled in or pushed forward, pulled forward and also pushed forward on the journey together. And all the help by the arrangement and mercy of Mahaprabhu has been arranged. So we have so far discussed 4 slokas of Sikshastakam. The first sloka is, it gives a great promise that by participation in Sankirtan, it promises 7 wonderful things to happen in life, up to the relishing. Okay. So that was like a thesis. The first sloka of Sikshastakam is like a thesis. It gives some great promise. And the second sloka becomes like antithesis. Because although the first sloka gives a great promise to attain the perfection of our human potential, but the second sloka establishes that what can deprive us or block that possibility. In spite of having so much arrangement, so much mercifulness of the Lord, still there is a possibility that one may be remain deprived. So that then in third shloka, the Anvaya Vidhi Vakya. So third shloka establishes, gave us the direction, Trinadapi Sunichena, that developing what kind of attitude or what we are meant to do. One is become humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. This very lofty. Always be, never expect respect for oneself, but at the same time, paying due respect to every living entity, every being, considering that Krishna is Paramatma, resides in the heart. So if Krishna has taken shelter of the living entity, then every living entity is worthy of our respect. So if one is able to incorporate these four attitudes in one's life, then the promise given is that Kirtanesa, he can attain the status where where the Hari, Sri Hari becomes glorifiable, or he is able to glorify the Supreme Lord Krishna all the time. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Satchanamai. Now in the fourth shloka, which is like the Vyatirek, Anvaya means Vidhi Vakya. You have to do something. You have to always remember Krishna. This is the Vidhi Vakya. That is the essence of purpose of the third shloka. Now, when we are asked to do something which we are not used to, then what happens? We tend to forget. And then extra emphasis is given. What is that? Vismartabhyo na jatuchit. Always remember Krishna, but we tend to forget. We are very used to forgetting. So emphasis again, never forget Krishna. So this negation, consideration of negative is helping so that we don't forget Krishna. So, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kame. One may apparently develop the very wonderful attitude of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina, Manadena. But at the same time, one may still have in the heart the hankering for wealth, janam, and all this fascination of this material world. It's possible. It's like we compared in the last sitting. It's like perfect medicine, prescribed by Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sushna. Become this. Be humble, be tolerant, always be respectful. Don't hanker for respect from others. It's perfect medicine. But this medicine one may take, by at the same time, if he does not disassociate with the material hankerings of janam, sundarim, kavitam, etc. Dharma is the kam moksha. Even the entanglement in religiosity, that is also a big. So the precaution is given that you have to get rid of these hankerings. If one does not become free from such mundane hankerings, but simply just adopt this mood of Trinadapi Sunichena, it doesn't work. It's just like one takes the medicine, but it doesn't follow the precautions. So that's why it is said that precaution is better than cure, because one may have this misconception that since I'm having the medicine, so I will be all right. No, but medicine is supposed to give its fullest benefit only if it is administered with the necessary precautions. So the fourth shloka was like the Vyatirek, what is to be avoided. So this way the Sikshastakam, the sequence has gone. And the first sloka of Sikshastakam which we studied is called the Sadhana Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti means the first stage of Bhakti. Three stages of Bhakti, na? Sadhana Bhakti, then middle stage is the Bhav Bhakti, in the third stage, final stage is Prema Bhakti. So in Sikshastakam, the first four slokas in in the observation of our previous acharyas, they may have difference of opinion, but we have to follow some at least our acharyas, Bhakti Vinod Thakur and others. So from today, the Bhav Bhakti. So these two slokas, the next two slokas, 5 and 6, they are hinting at the Bhav Bhakti. What is the Swarup Lakshana of Bhav Bhakti? It's, it's a lot of hankering and crying out, correct? So in today's sloka, we can feel that Mahaprabhu is expressing something very sublime. And many points will be covered. We will see how much we have been taking in each sloka 2 classes, and we'll see how far we go, because the message and the things to be appreciated are unlimited. We can barely even touch many of them. So this is the first sprout of Bhav Bhakti. So sloka is Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budhau कृपया तव पाद पंकज स्थित धूलि sadrisham vichintaya. So it is like imploring the Lord, trying to attract his attention in supplication, in the praying in the lotus feet of the divine of Krishna, to be accepted even as an insignificant particle of dust. So very much, that should be the attitude, because something, especially in this Raganuga Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti, ultimately the fulfillment or the perfection will come only through mercy. So our endeavor, even as sadhaka, is trying to attract that mercy. Our endeavor, or our crying out, our desperation should be, or our hankering should not be for anything but to attract that mercy that will make it possible for us to attain our abhishta, or the desired fulfillment. So that's why this slok number 5 and 6, what kind of sentiment is being expressed here? It's pure, na? On the sadhana stage, the thesis, antithesis, Andvai Vyatirek, that is sadhana bhakti, is over. Now we are entering the central part of devotional service, and most of us are at the Ajat Rati stage, sadhan bhakti stage, where the Rati means bhavankur, or has not been developed. And now Mahaprabhu, by his personal example, he is just showing us, in order to come to the central or bhava bhakti stage, these are the kind of prayers we should have, this kind of sentiment we have to have, along with the 4 which we have covered. Now this should be the direct addressing the Supreme Lord for something very specific. Patitam I Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram. O son of Nanda Maharaj, Kinkaram, I am your eternal servant. Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Dev. But yet, because of my own karma, I have fallen into this terrible ocean of birth and death. Accept this fallen soul and consider me a particle of dust at your holy lotus feet. Wow, this is amazing. Accept this fallen soul and consider me as a particle of dust at your holy lotus feet. Sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. So it's like a begging, asking for help. I need you. Without finding my shelter at your lotus feet, however insignificant and incapacitated I am, because I'm incapacitated, bereft of your shelter. So please allow me to become even a particle of dust at your lotus feet. What is the nature of a particle of dust? Stick to the bottom of the feet. It does not leave the feet. Correct. Very small. It sticks to the feet. It does not leave, and then it cannot be disturbed. So very smart. Smart prayer by Mahaprabhu teaching. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is basically praying, "Oh Lord, please consider me. I I am under your consideration. Be considerate of me. You know, Other than you, I am lost. I want to enter into the realm of your merciful glance. Please be merciful, because I do not know how to properly take care of myself even. Because a lost person, shelterless person, definitely does not know how he can cause his ultimate well-being. And that's why this prayer is so pertinent and so relevant to all of us. It's a prayer for all ages. In any condition, any age the living entity may have been, this is the prayer for every conditioned soul. So, because I'm not safe, I do not know how to take my proper care myself. So, I invite your care. Please accept me and give me entrance. So, where one wants entrance, Mahaprabhu is saying, since you are my guardian, I want to live under your protection. And now, in this sloka, the address is very, 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 very special, very, very unique. Mahaprabhu is addressing Krishna, I Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram. So, who is Krishna? Mahaprabhu is addressing, of course, he's addressing God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's addressing him by the specific name, Nanda Tanuja, O son of the Nanda Maharaj. So, Krishna is very much specified here. There could be many concepts of God, but here we have come to a beautiful conception of God. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. So this gives a direct connection to Vrindavan, the land of love, the land of ultimate perfection of our human potential. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India in many places, he also visited Prayag, and across the river that Vallabhacharya, Vallabhat, he was invited by Vallabhat. So by the boat, everybody went there. So there, of course, many stalwart devotees were coming to visit Mahaprabhu. So one day, that great devotee, Raghupati Upadhyay, came to meet Mahaprabhu, and he was very happy. He paid his obeisances, and Mahaprabhu told him, Krishna Mati Hoy, that you become Krishna conscious. And then Mahaprabhu said, okay, say something about Krishna. Or so lot of discussion took place, and then Mahaprabhu asked also many questions, and he also gave a lot of answers. So Mahaprabhu asked him, who you worship as the supreme? This was the question. So very interesting answer. This Raghupati Upadhyay said, he says, Shrutim apare smritim apare itare भारतम अन्ये भजन्तुम भय भीतः अहम इयम नंदम वंदे यशालिंदे param brahma. So what he said that Raghupati Upadhyay, he recited this sloka composed by himself, and he said, those who are afraid of material existence worship the Vedic literature. What is that? Shrutim apare. Shruti means Vedas, Upanishads. Some worship the Upanishads and the Vedas. Others worship the Puranas. Smriti means Puranas and other corollary literatures, Vedic literature. For why? Because or others, some other worship Mahabharata or follow the Mahabharata. That is because they are afraid of this material existence. Everybody is worshipping because of God-fearing nature. So those who are God-fearing, some end up worship the Vedas, some are inclined to worship the Smritis, the Puranas, some are worshipping following religious code of conduct is given in Mahabharata. But this Raghupati Upadhyay says, but as far as I am concerned, aham iha nandam vande. I worship Nanda Maharaj. In whose courtyard, what happens? In whose courtyard the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is playing or crawling. Yashalinde Param Brahma. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he was very, very happy. It's a very interesting that Mahaprabhu uh, asked him to say more about Krishna. Then naturally, he said, you are asking me to talk about Krishna, but who will listen to me? Because Krishna is very strange, very peculiar, very, very incomprehensible. So he said, Kama prati kathaitum, to whom should I speak about Krishna? And to whom should I speak about Krishna? Ishe samprati kova pratitim, and who will believe me about Krishna? Because to say things about Krishna, certain things are so strange, so far out, so unbelievable, that if you try to establish Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, people will run away. They say, Gopati Tanaya Kunje Gopa Vadhuti Vitam Brahma. He says, if I tell about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is hunting the gopis in the bushes of the bank of the river Yamuna. Who will listen to me? To whom can I speak like this? Who will believe me when I say that Krishna is like this? In this way, the Lord demonstrated his pastimes. So the Krishna conception, especially when it comes to the intimate conjugal pastimes of Krishna with the gopis, and especially with Srimati Radharani, it is very strange thing. But however strange and overwhelming or unbelievable, and still Krishna concept stands out. It rules the supreme concept. When Krishna concept enters the heart, pravishta karna ranjene, pravishta karna ranjene swanam bhav saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishna salilasya yatha sharah. When Krishna concept becomes established in the heart, it drives away all other concepts. So that is the potency. So here, the praying to Krishna and addressing him as the son of Nanda Maharaj, it immediately attracts the attention of, of Krishna, although he is God. Why? Because everybody likes to be called through the address or connection to his father, isn't it? This is human psychology. And Krishna's human-like pastimes, naturally he is born with the Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda is very, very powerful. So our angle should be also that rather than seeking the connection to Krishna is like the God-fearing people, we should find our connection like the loving connection. So those who have loving connection with Krishna, like Nanda Maharaj has, Mother Yashoda has, then we should also address Krishna in their time. And what to speak about addressing Krishna is Jai Radha Madhav. Is anybody addresses Krishna through Radharani, definitely Krishna will be most pleased and it will be most appealing to him. So that's the thing. But considering the majority of the people, even in the Varnashram Dharma, Vedic social, those who follow the Vedic social duty, people are either under the direction of the Vedas or the corollaries, the Puranas or Mahabharata. It's very prominent. So, so there is a color of godliness. God-fearing nature means they have faith in God, try to follow God so that they can fulfill all their material ambitions and aspirations in this world. And those who are not so much inclined, considering the nature of this temporary material world, they they go towards the direction of the Upanishads and become detached from material entanglement and opt for liberation from this material entanglement. So either people become inclined towards inclined to worship God either for sense gratification or for liberation, bhoga tyaga. And bhoga tyaga, they are not part of they have nothing to do with the swarup or the real identity of the soul. Jivere swarupa Krishna nityadas. So until a person becomes inclined purely to come to or hanker or develop the desire to become a servant of Krishna, so then he is still stuck in the lower platform because he has not understood the real need of the soul. So therefore, Raghupati Upadhyay says, I don't care for all these things, but I feel I need to follow the guidance of my heart. And what is that guidance tells him? Because he says that I'm not such a brainy person, intellectual or anything. I like to follow the heart. Or my heart takes me, you know, my heart connects me to Krishna's father. My heart is always attracted by Krishna's father, Nanda. Although the authorities, the Vedas, and in Loka, in the generations, Krishna has been celebrated as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Ishvara Parama Krishna hai Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda hai Sarva Karana Karanam. But that absolute truth, who is so vastly glorified, is crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Similarly, Mother Yashoda. In case of Mother Yashoda, Shukdev Goswami says, Traya Chopanishad Bhishcha Sankhya Yogaischa Satvatahi Upagiyamana Mahatmyam Harim Samanyatatmajam. The Vedas, Upanishads, Sattva Tantra, great stalwart devotees, yogis and jnanis, great stalwart devotees, all the scriptures, the Vedas, Upanishads, Yoga Shastra, Tantra Shastra, Bhakti Shastra, they all describe Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So many nomenclature, Brahma, Paramatma, Yogeshwar. How many titles can you give this? Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara, Parameshwaram, Rasovaisa. All this nomenclature is so lofty, and they are still, they still haven't reached the end of Krishna's unlimited glories. To such a personality, Mother Yashoda thinks that he is a baby born by my womb. So that is the command of Mother Yashoda over the person who is the commander in chief, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yashoda, if somebody tells her, you are you have to behave properly with this. Don't you know this? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Mother Yashoda will tell you. You know, in Rajasthan, there is a way of saying, "Holo." Who cares? He doesn't know how to eat properly and what to eat even. So I have to reprimand him. I have to chastise him. I have to correct him so that he behaves properly. So this is the loving bond of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba with Krishna. And this Raghupati Upadhyay is a sadhak. He says, I am attracted to befriend Nanda Maharaj or Mother Yashoda because that God so glorified is still being glorified. He's crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So I see a concrete reality there. So one may ask, how has Nanda Maharaj attracted the supreme absolute truth and agreed to crawl like a helpless baby in his courtyard? So Srimad Bhagavatam describes this. No? Nanda hai ki makarod brahman shreya eva mohodara. Yashoda, Yashoda, yes, Yashoda che mahabhaga papau yashya stanam hari. Shukadev goes, Parikshit Maharaj is asking this question because in relation to something, because such a rare fortune Nanda Maharaj had, and such a rare, even more rare fortune Mother Yashoda had, that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with so much enthusiasm and so much, with so much delight, he, he sucked the breast of Mother Yashoda. What a fortune that God demonstrates such activity. So that was a question by Parikshit Maharaj. So the question is very, very pertinent, very, very wonderful. It's like a very awe-striking for Parikshit Maharaj. That what duty or fortune or what pious activity he did, Nanda Maharaj did, what duty did he discharge? What sort of realization did Nanda Maharaj have? That the absolute truth, Krishna, is so intimate with him, and he is very delighted to be called the son of Nanda Maharaj, and crawling in his courtyard, totally dependent, totally under the jurisdiction of Nanda Maharaj. God, under whose jurisdiction is everyone, but he has subjugated himself to just crawl within the limit of the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. What an amazing thing. Huh? So he seems to be under Nanda Maharaj's clutches. What is this? This is the most wonderful thing. Is it possible that God would act like that? That was the question. This demonstration of Krishna in Gokula, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami describes the manifestation of Krishna or Hari in three categories. He says, Harihi Purna Tamah Purna Tara Purna Iti Tridha. Harihi Purna Tamah, most perfect. Purna Tara, more perfect. And Purna means perfect. Harihi Purna Tamah Purna Tara Purna Iti Tridha. Three manifestations of Krishna is most perfect, more perfect, and perfect. Krishnasya Purnatamta Vyaktabhut Gokulantare. The most perfectness of Krishna, Krishnasya Purnatamta Vyaktabhut Gokulantare was demonstrated or manifested in Gokul. Krishnasya Purnatamta Vyaktabhut Gokulantare Purnatarata Dwaraka Mathuradishu. Krishna is complete in Dwarka, he is more complete in Mathura, and most complete in Gokul. So Rupa Goswami establishes this principle, this Siddhanta, by through some criteria. So what are the criteria of establishing someone is the most perfect and more perfect and perfect? Three categories, correct? Systematic. So then he establishes this most perfectness based on three criteria. The first criterion is on the basis of Aishwarya or the opulence. The second criterion is of Madhurya, sweetness of Krishna. And the third criterion is the Kripa, the mercifulness of Krishna. So these three aspects, three criteria, the opulence, the sweetness, and the mercy, the maximum, highest level of all these three, highest level of opulence, highest level of sweetness, and highest level of mercy was demonstrated. Vyaktabhut means became demonstrated, manifested in the pastime of Krishna in Gokula. So since we are connected here in address Nanda Bharat, so we can see that how in Gokul Krishna's highest opulence was demonstrated. Krishna by very Swarupa is not a lord of opulence, he is the lord of sweetness, correct? Madhurya Murti. But it is not that just because he is Madhurya Murti or Gokul is Gokul's appearance is filled with all the sweetness around. That doesn't mean that it is bereft of opulence. Rather, the 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 the, the profuseness of sweetness is such that it drowns the opulence under it. So much sweetness in Gokul, Vrindavan, like that. So, what is the opulence? When Brahma stole all the calves and the cowherd boys, and then Krishna, when he wanted to, after causing like bewildering Brahmaji, And Krishna just wanted to show him mercy, because when Brahmaji came to senses that he has done a blunder with the Lord, he has no doubt that who Krishna is. So of course Krishna then he demonstrated that all the cowherd boys which so were supposedly stolen by Brahma, actually or replaced by Krishna. Actually Brahma thought that he stole, so Mahamaya just okay made him steal those the chaya or the duplicate, because the eternal associates of the Lord, Brahma does not have the jurisdiction to control or cause any trouble or touch them even. So then the Yoga Maya just caused the disappearance, or they just removed the actual calves and the cowherd boys and put the chaya or the Maya cowherd boys and calves, which Brahma stole and thought that he has done something. And then, but Krishna found neither the cowherd boys nor the calves, as we know the Leela, When Krishna told his cowherd, don't worry, I will go and fetch the calves. So when Krishna went to fetch the calves, and then Brahma took the cowherd boys, and when he came back, he did not find the calves. The calves were also stolen or taken. The chaya, the fake calves and cowherd boys were taken by Brahma, and the real cowherd boys and calves were taken by Yogamaya under her protection. So Krishna didn't find either. So Krishna himself became all the calves and the cowherd boys for 1 year, and everything. He became their voice, he became their paraphernalia, the style of walking, style of talking, everything. So everything became Krishna. Krishna became the Karta, Krishna became the Karma, Krishna became the Upan. I don't know. My foundational English is education was not in English. It was in Hindi. So I explained that Krishna became everything. How you describe in those who have studied English grammar, they will know. कर्ता कर्ता ने कर्म को करण से संप्रदाय के लिए अपादान से संबंध का की के अधिकरण में, all these 7 aspects of the first person, the second person, the object, in the act itself, everything became Krishna. Krishna became the driver, correct, the herder of the cows, and Krishna is also being heard. And Krishna is also being Krishna controlling Krishna. Krishna is pushing Krishna. Krishna is following Krishna. Everything became Krishna. So when this Leela was wound up, Brahma saw that innumerable or as many murtis of Chaturbhuj Narayan manifested. So we think of Vaikuntha as the abode of highest opulence, correct? But innumerable Vaikuntha Murti manifested in front of Brahmaji, and so that was can you imagine? Innumerable Vaikuntha planets opulence, or innumerable Narayan Murti, Chaturbhuj Narayan Murti manifest in front of Brahma in that Gokul, that whatever piece of land he was apparently seeing, unlimited opulence, unlimited Vaikuntha became manifest in the land of Gokula. So that way, from the opulence point of view, the Purna Tamta, the most perfectness of Krishna was manifest. Then, to establish Krishna's most perfectness from the viewpoint of Madhurya, or sweetness, this sloka was quoted by Rupa Goswami. Yashoda kim mahabhaga papo yashyastanam hari. That what kind of fortune Mother Yashoda had, that Hari is sucking the breasts of Mother Yashoda. God becoming so hungry and uh, so eager and so anxious to be fed by the sucking of breast by Mother Yashoda. This is, can one think of a greater sweetness than this? So this human-like pastime of Krishna is maintaining the humanness, which makes it very sweet. Then from the viewpoint of mercy, the most perfectness of Krishna is manifested in Gokula. When the Putana came to kill Krishna by smearing the deadliest poison on her breast, and Krishna just, he saw just the intention, he just acted. Intention was very, very loathsome, very horrible, very deplorable. But Krishna noted, okay, she has come to feed me. And so, not only he sucked Putna's breast, but also sucked the life air and gave her the position almost like her mother. Dhatrim, lebhe gatim, dhatri, uchitam is a uchit, suitable to a maid, foster mother, to such a person who came to kill him. And even that person got the position almost like a mother. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? So in any other incarnation of Krishna, such a mercy was never demonstrated. So, so that is the thing why Krishna concept is so special. The yogis, the rishis, the contrast is given. The most stalwart or the most advanced people. Who is considered most advanced in human society? The one who has the highest discipline, one who can control the breathing, who can control the mind, who can control the senses, and who can perform lot of austerities. They are very, very qualified people. The sadhakas, the yogis, the rishis, the great scholars and penance makers, they, after doing so much endeavor, and in spite of having so much sense control, breathing control, senses control, after a long, long time, they may just get a small glimpse into the object of aspiration, and the realization is very, very vague. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayorathapi manuso munipungavanam सोप्यस्ति यत् प्रपद सिम्ने अविचिन्त्य तत्वे गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. Following this path of tremendous austerity and penance, they do not get, they cannot get. Shukdev Goswami says, Yatpad pansur bahu janma krichato, to attain the dust particle or the particle of the dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme. Yatpad pansur bahu janma krichato, in spite of endeavoring for so many lifetimes after lifetimes. Dhritatma bhi yogi bhir api alabhya. Great yogis and rishis, in spite of taking tremendous, very difficult vows of sense control, mind control, breathing control, and austerity, standing in the, there are tremendous kind of, in the Vedic literature, in the previous ages, people were taking such difficult vows and completely depriving themselves of all the comforts and everything. Dhritatma bhi yogi bhi api alabhya. But in spite of putting so much endeavor by the most qualified people, these are the most qualified people. Now the contrast which is to be appreciated here is that the most qualified people of this world, with all the austerities and all the qualities and the qualification to such a discipline, they don't get. Dhritatmabhir yogibhir api alabhya. They remain, they don't. On the other hand, saiva yadrig. Saiva means the same absolute truth, which is so difficult to be attained even by the most qualified human beings like rishis, gyanis, and dhyanis and whatnot. That's such rare or difficult person is has become the object of the senses of the Brajavasis. Saeva yadrik vishaya hai swayam sthita hai. On his own accord, he has become controlled by the love of the Brajavasis. And others, however qualified and tremendously powerful in many ways, they don't get it. Krishna is so rare to get, so difficult to achieve. So that so difficult to achieve person, Krishna, has become the object of senses of the Brajavasis. So Shukdev Goswami says, Kim varnite dishta mato Brajo Gosam. What to say about the fortune of these Brajavasis who have attained such a great fortune, which is so difficult to achieve even by the most qualified people. So that is the idea. How is it possible that the supreme substance sits on the lap of Mother Yashoda and sucks her breasts? If such things are real, if it is all possible, then why should I not be attracted by that method by which I can have some intimacy with the highest entity? Correct? Krishna, so the process of love and Mother Nanda Baba. And I also want to follow their process in their footsteps. Intimate connection with Krishna rather than remaining deprived in spite of following so many strenuous processes, so difficult. So there is a uh, so he says that I want to surrender to Nanda Baba and his party. I want to enlist my name in the group where Nanda Maharaj is the master guide. Correct? Krishna follows also his command. So rather than trying to attract Krishna's attention, which is most difficult to achieve. So I should follow that person who is followed by Krishna. How smart this idea. So I want to enlist my name in that group where Nanda Maharaj is the master guide. And he is followed even by Krishna. So if I join that party, then Krishna is easily attained. Nah? Because in the world, even in the pious circles or religious circle, people are very much inclined to follow religious, pious activities. But what is the end result of performing nice karma? Either you get good sense gratification in this lifetime, or at the most go to the heavenly planets for further sense gratification. But they are also temporary. So even this our energy is so much utilized and so much engrossed in even Vedic karma kanda even. They don't give us the real supreme destination. Correct? Or even those who aspire for moksha or mukti, salvation, but there also they miss out on the real joy of life. But those who are truly intelligent, they will try to connect to that realm where Nanda Maharaj is directing, Nanda Maharaj is controlling Krishna. So, we can follow the process whereby we can also enter into that realm where the devotees, or where Krishna is under the subjugation of his pure devotees. So that should be our aspiration, rather than following some independent path, and which is very difficult to give. The real fulfillment of the soul. The soul is hankering for the love. So when we come to the point of following our heart, the heart or the soul, correct? Where does the soul reside? The soul resides in the heart. Heart means the central. And what is the center? Where the consciousness is. This question is asked, where does the soul reside in the heart? So the simple answer we may have heard: the soul resides in the heart. So where is the heart of everyone? Like bigger living entities, with big bodies, we can spot the heart. Okay, heart is here where, you know, is. But what about the amoebas and other species where the heart is hardly visible or seen, or even any conception of heart? So heart means the center, another meaning. But ultimately, the soul is uh, soul is where or what it is conscious of. This is the point. This is the heart. So we are, or our heart is what or where we are conscious of. This point should be very much appreciated. So if somebody asks me, where is my soul? The soul is always uh, intrinsically or inseparably with the consciousness. Consciousness is a symptom of the soul. So even in our present condition, we are what or where we are conscious of. Where we are, whichever place we are conscious of, what we become what we become conscious of. We are what we are conscious of. So consciousness determines our destination. What happens at the end? This question is asked in the Vedic culture. What will happen at the end? But has anybody ever been able to define what is end? End cannot be defined. It cannot be even pinpointed. This is the end. Of course, it is inevitable. They say as certain as death. Although, so this is very interesting. Something is there in this world which is simultaneously most certain and also most uncertain. Can one think of such a thing? Something which is very immanent. Immanent means certain. It's like something built in. Lord Krishna says, Jayate hi dhruva mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha. With the birth of every being in this world, associated with the birth is the death also. So death is called immanent. That immanent. But when death will come, nobody knows. It will come, that is for sure as death, the saying says. But at the same time, death is also simultaneously the most uncertain thing. It is imminent. It is imminent. It can come any time. It's like latakti talwar, like the hanging sword. When it can fall, nobody knows. So for the sadhaka, what is important is to appreciate that at this very moment that death is not falling upon us. So whatever time is left with us before that inevitable, immanent, as certain death is going to come, whatever time left with us is our bonus time. We should get used to this concept of bonus time available to us. We may have remaining, for me, maybe 10, 20 years, somebody may have 50 years left, or 20 years, or 2 months, or 5 months, doesn't matter. If we become spiritually awakened at this moment, then whatever time left with us is enough to cause the perfection of our human potential. We have to take this remaining time very, very seriously. So this end point. So what should I do? I have to just consider the options. Options, the thing which should encourage us that at this moment the death has not come, so I can remain, I can now focus more. Because, but in bonus, what happens? Bonus is going to be over. Bonus period, bonus vacation, bonus special opportunity. It is not lasting forever. It will come to an end. So before it comes to an end, I have the opportunity to become fully prepared to just wait for that meeting point with Krishna, meeting point with the divine couple, which is called the I Madhur Milan Ki Bela. So during this time of this bonus time, we can prepare in our consciousness that we are waiting Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi more. Just as I've been living here only to serve Radha Krishna, and when the exit will come, we don't have to force our exit. It will come on its own accord by the will of Krishna. So by the will of Krishna, we are living in this lifetime in this body, and by living we will serve and glorify Radha Krishna. And when our time will be called up to exit this body, we will also. So we have to wait that Krishna is there to meet us. So if we, in that anticipation and with that akanksha, if we pass our remaining time, definitely ante jehi mati sohi gati. During this bonus time, if we cultivate this aspiration, and only aspiration, that Krishna is going to take me to his abode, I will be taken to Krishna's abode. If that is the thought in our consciousness, then we become what we are conscious of. So if you think of Krishna and Krishna's abode, right from now until the end of this bonus time, we will definitely end up with Krishna. Sadhane bhavive jahan. Nautam Das Thakur in Prem Bhakti Chandrika says, Sadhane bhavive jahan. During this sadhana kal, this present, as a sadhaka, whatever aspiration we contemplate, sadhane bhavive. Bhavi means bhavana karna. Whatever we, whatever hankering or whatever aspiration we develop in the Siddha stage. And what is the Siddha stage? To be able to sustain this hankering of attaining the Supreme, awaiting Krishna's call. So it's a whole life practice. And our life is not for thousands of years or hundreds of years. It's only few decades, even not that, we don't know. But we have to prepare whatever time is left with us with absolute attention. Then we will definitely reach where we where we uh, where we really want, or just where we should reach. As we study the scriptures and through satsang, we develop a specific aspiration in connection to Mahaprabhu. Our aspiration is to attain the shelter and service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, So who attains the shelter of Srimati Radharani? A maid servant, because only a maid servant is allowed to attain the service of Srimati Radharani. No male servant is allowed there. So the only aspiration as a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to develop the aspiration to become a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. So during this sadhana kal, whatever bonus time is left with us, we should develop that hankering and remember Mahaprabhu, you know. And Prabodhananda Saraswati gives a wonderful inspiration where he says, Yatha yatha gaur padar vinde vindeta bhaktim krita punya rashi तथा तथोत्सर्पतिहृद्यकस्मात् श्रीराधा padambhoj sudhamburashi. So he says, as much as our pious pious kritis means our devotional practices, as much as that devotional our engagement is investment in the bhakti of Mahaprabhu, to that extent, in the same proportion, suddenly intense desire to attain the nectar of the service of Radharani lotus feet would be sprouted in our heart. So that is what this Mahaprabhu's connection gives us. So, so why should I allow myself to run hither and thither? Correct? We got a specific direction, Sri Radha Dashyam. If I find that the absolute truth has kindly come with all his charm, and that his charm is not a secret, but we can find in the parampara of Mahaprabhu. All our acharyas and gurus, they have been charmed by that aspiration of Radha Dasya. And then why should I find any fascination in other paths, you know? Why should I run after the phantasmagoria of those who are doing tremendous meditation or tremendous, you know, strange philanthropic ideologies or renunciates, you know, different kinds of practices are going in the name of spirituality. But if we have the sublime fortune, if we can find sufficient appraisal to the fortune or the status of attaining the maid servanthood of Srimati Radharani, then we will lose any attraction to any other so-called lofty proposals of many sadhanas. Because it's common sense, you know. Because the authorities, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our foundation, you know, Srimad Bhagavate, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradhara na para. Srimad Bhagavatam is the foundation which establishes that Krishna Prema, Prema Pumartho Mahan, to develop the love of Krishna is the highest Purushartha, the highest achievement desirable of our endeavor. The highest fruit of our endeavor should be targeted Krishna Prema. So when we have come up to that standard, then we can ask, oh Krishna, just like Mahaprabhu, he is addressing Krishna as Nanda Nandan, Nanda Tanuja, that I have some connection with you. I am your servant, you know. And so Krishna has already established loving bonds with, like Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda, Srimati Radharani ultimately, because although Krishna is under the control of love of all the Brajavasis, Shashit means under the control, but he is ruled. He is ruled by the love of all the Brajavasis, but he is under the control or subjugation of Srimati Radharani alone. So this is how Radharani stands out. But nonetheless, some loving connection must find our attraction. So I feel within my heart, within myself, that I have some connection with you, Krishna. I am subordinate to you, but somehow I am in adverse circumstances. I really need your help. I feel that there are so many enemies within me that are trying to take me away from you. What the sloka says? Patitam mam vishame bhavam udhav. This material existence is very visham, terrible ocean of birth and death. So I am in a very precarious situation. I am shelterless. Can you imagine the position? Vishame, vishame bhavam budhav. In the ocean of repeated birth and death. Do you think we have any shelter? Just think of this example. If we are thrown in the ocean, deep ocean, what will happen? We will drown. Now, if thousands of people are thrown in this ocean, like our all the so-called society and all the surrounding, we say, "Oh, I'm not in a precarious situation. Uh, I have my husband, I have my wife, I have my father, mother, children, wealth, property, prestige, all these things. I'm not in such a precarious situation." But imagine if one is thrown in the ocean, everybody is just everybody just is crying out for their life. Other beings who are all in the same situation, they cannot save us. So the whole idea is the condition of the living entity in this material world is very precarious. We actually cannot be rescued. The old age, disease, and death. Everybody is in the same boat. So if one is oneself not free from these tribulations, how can shelter of such person or association of such person can at all benefit us in any way? So I feel that within me that are trying to take me away from you, that I cannot give my attention to you at all time, all the time. At the same time, I feel from the inner plane of my heart that you are my master. I fall short in performing my duty, what I'm supposed to do for my ultimate good. I feel so utterly incapacitated, everything. But you are capable. That is the point. That is imploring the Lord that you are my master. You are all in all to me. My heart won't be satisfied without your companionship. It is you I need to associate with, to be sheltered by. So I appeal to you. I am under unfavorable circumstances. I am suffering. And without your grace, I don't find any means of relief from my present imprisoned position. So that kind of precarious situation, Mahaprabhu is expressing about him is as if he is a conditioned soul. But Mahaprabhu is just think of the compassion of Mahaprabhu. How glorious when the living entity, through the effect of satsang or good association or devotional association, when he opens his vision towards the Supreme, then his fortune becomes, that is the true glory of the living entity, when he starts looking up to the Lord. But most living conditioned souls, they are not inclined to look up. They are so engrossed in the lower strata of this material existence that it becomes almost impossible. So, what the Lord has done, the Lord, the Supreme Person, the very embodiment of love in Radha Bhav, he has come down to the platform of us living entities. So when the Supreme Lord, the embodiment of love, when he comes down to our platform, it only enhances his merciful glory. The living entity, however insignificant and incapacitated, when it cries out for the shelter of the Absolute, its real glory also becomes its real glory also becomes manifest. Can you see this wonderful paradox? The Supreme Lord, he is already situated in the absolute glory. When he comes down, when he demonstrates his compassion to the fallen conditioned souls of this material world, then his true glory becomes. So, what is the ultimate true glory? The compassion, the Kripaluta, the merciful nature of the Supreme Lord, which conveys his highest glory, becomes manifest only when he comes down to the level of the conditioned souls like us. So, which is easier? Easier is it for the conditioned soul, foreign soul, to be able to look up to the Supreme, or for the Supreme, who is already situated in highest glory, he comes down at our platform to demonstrate his ultimate glory as his most compassionate nature. So we can see that Mahaprabhu, considering the precarious position of the conditioned souls since eternity, in this incarnation, he has chosen to demonstrate the highest glory of the Supreme as his compassion shown and demonstrated towards the conditioned souls like us. And Mahaprabhu is very, very much encouraging us to think along those lines. And in the last line, he says how he is presenting himself, that the mood, the attitude is so important. He is presenting himself as a soul. The soul is what? Sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Dhuli sadrisham. Dhuli means a dust particle. The soul is here compared to or likened to dust particle, like a ray of sun. So Mahaprabhu says, I feel that I am not eternally connected with you. If the living entity, us, conditioned souls, were eternally connected to Krishna, we would have been there, na, correct? Eternally connected to Krishna is a very far cry for all of us. We are disconnected in the sense that we are not conscious of Krishna. That's why Srila Prabhupada established the Society Krishna Consciousness, where we have the capacity to become eternally connected with Krishna in consciousness, that we are part and parcel of Krishna. But due to that forgetfulness, or due to that disconnection since eternity, because if we were connected with Krishna since eternity, we would still be connected with him. So the very simple conclusion that we are disconnected with Krishna. although we are part and parcel of Krishna, but due to forgetfulness, we are disconnected with him since eternity. So I am not eternally connected with you. If it were so, what would happen? Then this separation would been impossible. No? We feel separated from Krishna, isn't it? That's true. So, like Krishna has two anshas, Swansha and Vibhinansha. All the incarnations of the Swansha, the Vishnu Tattva, all the avatars. But we are not Krishna's plenary portion. We are the minute particle of Krishna's Tatastha Shakti. We are not directly even Krishna's energy. We are one minute, tiniest part of Krishna's Tatastha Shakti, which is one of the many, many energies. Primarily three energies of Krishna: the internal Swarup Shakti, Ladini, Sandhini, Samvit, external manifestation of this Prakriti or Jada Prakriti, Trigunatmak, and we living entities are the part of that Tatastha Shakti. We are not like the ray of Vishnu, one Shakti. We are just one particle of the ray of the sun. So, the living entity is a partial representation of his potency, Vibhinansha. Krishna Tatastha Shakti Bheda Bhed Prakash. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the living entities are his eternal parts and parcels. Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mamaivansho is eternal parts and parcels. So we can see that we souls, we as the living entities, we come from that marginal potency. We are a minute particle of that marginal potency. Krishna is a Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha Shakti is marginal potency. Bheda Bheda Prakash. So simultaneously, because Krishna is our source, so we cannot be completely independent of him or completely disassociated with him. But at the same time, we are different from him. And different from him, that means we are not part of or under the shelter of his internal potency, which is always associated with Krishna. What is the meaning of internal potency or Swarup Shakti? Swarup Shakti means which is never separated from Krishna. So if we were ever under the protection of the Swarup Shakti, we would never be separated from Krishna like we are right now. So since eternity, we are just somehow, as we are made, we are part of the Tatastha Shakti of Krishna. When we will attain the shelter of Krishna's Swarup Shakti, that shelter will also be eternal, then we will be never separated from Krishna. So this is very simple. And the soul is an atomic fragmental part of the Lord's potency, like a ray of the sun. But ray of the sun is also not the real sense. But the Mahaprabhu, as a devotee, is praying. What he prays? I am not part and parcel of your own body. If I was already part and parcel of your own body, then I would always be there with you. I'm not even a ray, but my representation is nearer to that of a particle of sand, a particle of dust, not even a particle of the ray coming out of the luster of your body. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is representing on our behalf that our petition must be of this type. So what is a petition? I cannot indulge myself in thinking that I possess such fortune that I may be considered an inseparable part of you. Inseparable part is one only when something is part of the Swarup Shakti interpretation, or one has come under the shelter of the Swarup Shakti. But that portion we don't have right now. As a devotee, Mahaprabhu is saying that I don't possess such portion that I may be considered an inseparable part of you. I am a separate part, but I also want your grace. Please be kind upon me. I invoke your mercy for a special grant. Accept me in any position in your connections. I'm separated from you since eternity, but somehow provide some shelter in your connection. So that connectivity is hankered after. That connection in your connection. Accept me in any position in your connection, even the lowest position. At least this must be sanctioned. That is the imploring. At least don't deprive me of that little shelter. Consider me even a particle of dust at your feet. This is my prayer. So this is the basic message of this slok number 5, where the real sentiment, loving sentiment, or hankering for the shelter of Krishna. No other aspiration of this material world, no other. It's the beginning of purebhakti.com. So that should be direct hankering for transition from conditioned state, or in the conditional trigunatmak sphere, hankering to become connected to Krishna for eternity. So I think I can stop here and we can have some discussion. So thank you very much for your patience, for your patient listening, and you can Hare Krishna. Kirtaniya Sadari.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru. Amazing Shri Guru, how you connect every single stroke with Radha Dasyam.
One second. Yes.
Hare Krishna Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Prema Punita Sakhi wants to speak something, she can.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Sri Guru. Koti Koti Pranam. Beautiful, amazing satsang. The way you described the Brahma Vimohan Leela, it was just we were feeling that it is foregoing in front of us, Sri Guru. And Hari Purnata, Purnatam, everything, Sri Guru. One question I wanted to ask. Navda, in Navda Bhakti, uh, uh, every Bhakti we are having one Acharyas, Sri Guru. So their Brajvasis names are not mentioned. Like for Sakhya Bhakti, we can even take Madhumangal or like that way. Why it is so, Sri Guru? All are no Brajvasis name is there. No?
So Brijvasis are already in the higher strata. The conditioned soul, the Sangha association creates the level of adhikara. Correct? And this Raganuga Bhakti is the main criterion is lobha. If one becomes attracted, if one finds tremendous attraction towards the dealing of Brajvasis with Krishna in any of the rasa, then naturally that special attraction he would want to join that realm where such exchange of love is being practiced, So this is within Vaidhi Bhakti, Nauda Bhakti, Um, but Braj Bhakti is special. So Mahaprabhu has come to give us connection to the Braj Bhakti, and even in Braj Bhakti, ultimately the Bhakti of Nikunja Leela, with the conjugal dealing with Radha and Krishna and the gopis. So that's why Mahaprabhu's teachings, main features is in indispensability of taking shelter of Srimati Radharani. Radharani के चरणों की के आश्रय की अपरिहार्यता, indispensable, and having the highest regard for the gopis' love for Krishna, and ultimately Parama Gopi is Srimati Radharani. Na? So in our position, we aspire to find shelter at one of the associates of the Lord, that is Raganuga Bhakti. Na? So the associates of the Lord, they have the natural spontaneous raga, or deep attachment for Krishna, inbuilt since eternity. That's why they call Ragatmika, Parshad, or the associates of Krishna. So in our aspiration, the Sakhis and Manjaris, they are the eternal associates of Radharani, and we hanker to find our subservience to them. Anugatyamai Seva. In our adhikar is Anugatyamai Seva. When we come under shelter of the spiritual master, who is endowed with the same bhava or aspiration in the heart to attain the service of Srimati Radharani, then we perceive such a person, the spiritual master, although in Swarupa, in identity, he is a Raganuga Bhakta, Raganuga devotee. But for the disciple and the follower, he should be perceived and honored as an associate of Krishna. He should be perceived as an associate of Srimati Radharani, as the maid servant, or like this. Just as in our Siddhanta, the spiritual master is the servant of Krishna in Swarupa, but he is honored as Sakshat Hari, correct? Or even more than Hari. Pratham tu Gurum Pujyam. First worship should be to Sri Guru. Greater than the worship of Krishna. Correct? Then who is greater than Krishna? Can anybody be greater than Krishna? Srimati Radharani is greater than Krishna, correct? So, in the vision and in the direction of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he directed that on this in Manjari Bhav Sadhana Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, the position and the perception of the spiritual master becomes the most critical thing. He says that the spiritual master, just as the Upanishads put the spiritual master on the equal platform as Krishna Hari himself, but Bhagavatam puts him one stage higher. Mad Bhakti Pujyabhyadhika. My devotee or the spiritual master should be worshipped more than me. To please Krishna, one should give more service or more worship to the spiritual master than Krishna himself. This is Krishna's desire. But ultimately, who is ultimately greater than Krishna? Srimati Radharani, correct? So that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the position of the spiritual master is same as Srimati Radharani for the sadhaka, for the disciple, because Radharani in the Nikunj Mandir, she will be attained when we are transferred in our Siddha Swarupa, in our Siddha Rup, Manjari Rupa. But until then, to develop that sentiment, to develop that fervor, to have that feeling or realization, what it would be like to be with Srimati Radharani. One can develop that affinity with the spiritual master. And because, so the spiritual master is put in the highest position, even during this sadhana. In the highest position is Srimati Radharani, correct? But Radharani, which we will meet in the spiritual realm only, right now she's indirect for us. But Radharani's sample, Radharani's representation is through the spiritual master. So if one is able to cultivate that vision and that create our dearness towards the spiritual master, um, as if we are associating or dealing with Srimati Radharani. So that affinity and that dearness, of course, the worshipfulness will be also there, but the culmination of all respect comes to the dearness of the person. So that is the direction. And so one makes a humble beginning, at least to be sheltered by Krishna is a dust particle, is a very insignificant particle under the shelter. So that is like samandha gyan, that's very, very powerful. And so our Siddhanta and our understanding should be very clear. There should be no confusion. Ultimately, we develop the affinity or the priti or the dearness only to the person who comes in our direct perception, vision, exchange. If the affinity or the rati attachment was possible for something or someone who is not visible or who does not come in our exchange of dealings, then it is not possible. That's why scripture says Sakshat Hari to the spiritual master. In the same way in Raganuga Bhakti, that Sakshat Radharani, one can say, one can perceive, or one can treat the spiritual master as Radharani manifest in one's life. All right? Hare Krishna.
Pranam Shri Guru, so beautiful. And you have completely clarified the definition of the Acharya. And like I always say, I ask a point in one chapter and you always clear the entire chapter. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So amazing, Shri Guru, how you connect every single verse, every single line, every single word with Radha Dasyam, with Guru Padashray. Such crystal clear, straight path you show us. And this path, without you, it would have never been illuminated. It's you who is putting prakash, who is putting light on this path. And it is amazing. We can take out any shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all the shlokas are connected to that path, and how you connect them, it is amazing. Amazingly blessed we are, Shri Guru, and by your mercy only we pray to become fully blessed someday. If anybody would like to speak anything, any any other questions, please kindly unmute. Hare Krishna.
So the position of the living entity in our entanglement in this material world since eternity, one should not have any confusion as to what are our options in our possibilities in determining the possibilities of our destination. Real thing is what we can really go after, rather than remaining stuck here. Even through arguments, we can argue about many things, many theories, but the real victory of this satsang is that we develop the genuine hankering, genuine longing for something so concrete. Because without that longing out of here, we will still be stuck here. We have to have longing for something out of this world. Can we think of it? So, Sri Sikshastakam is amazing torchlight to show us the very bright path unto the most bright, the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Guru, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna, welcome.
Hearing from your lotus mouth, Shri Guru, is truly sublime. This message of Sikshastakam of Mahaprabhu, and whatever you speak, it's like, honestly, Shri Guru, it is so encouraging, enlivening, thriving. Like I Madhur Milan ki Bela, how you say, Shri Guru. And on the death part, something immanent and imminent is very thought provoking, Shri Guru. And it's like looking forward, making myself okay to look forward towards this purpose of life and understanding of life, Shri Guru, and mold myself towards this vision under your shelter, Shri Guru, under your anugatya, Shri Guru. Koti Koti Pranam, Shri Guru.
Shri Swamini Matiras to everyone. So, thank you once again for joining and participating. It's very encouraging to be with you all. And we will join you in Kirtan in 1.5 hours. All right, unless someone has something to share or say, last chance. Amanda. Yes, welcome.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho. All goes to. Yes, you have
Thank
some.
you so much. Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much for the class. Very, very beautiful. The question in my heart at the moment is how to navigate the seeming duality of aspiring for the highest goal, but walking step by step without jumping over. Does this make sense?
Yes, very much. But that the doubt and suspicion can disappear instantaneously. Because if the most difficult thing becomes addressed or solved, because we don't want to remain, we don't want to sustain the mystery about how the goal or destination which Mahaprabhu has exposed to all of us, correct? Whether it is a step-by-step, slow process, but destination should be very clear. Just give an example. So the feeling of a sadhaka should be of this kind. A person is very much, he's surviving very, very ordinarily, very like in poorly, in miserly. Can you think of someone who's living in a miserly situation? Now he comes to know through his records or some acquaintance, something like that. The satsang, the association of transcendental nature, devotee is like a miserly person coming across some information about himself for his highest interest or his own treasure. So the miserly person, they don't go together, correct? If the person has treasure, then he is not miserly. So our situation is like a miserly person who has come across the treasure which is very much due to him. It's just a matter of time, 5 years or 10 years, or we can say that at the end of this lifetime. Just relate this point. Now those who know the fortune, such fortune of that apparently miserly person, he will not see him as miserly. In the same way, when we are exposed and when we come under the association of such a group or such people who are enlightened and awakened into identifying with that ultimate fortune as a maid servant of Srimati Radharani. That is our fortune. On the way, we would be all in that position. We are all would be gold medalists. My point, what I'm trying to say in direct response to a question, we don't have to make the thing mystery. The mystery is already over. Our destination is exposed through association or through satsang. We have got our new direction, and that direction, once the direction is changed, then his position also changed. Na? If we change our direction, then what we are targeting is also changed. So in the association of such devotees who have found their absolute focus on the destination of Radha Dashyam, Radharani's lotus feet. Now our connection, our bond with such a person is the rare thing. Everything else is not mysterious. That's why I say, Ayogya Purusho Nasti, no human being is unqualified. In Mahabharata, in a Hitopadesh, there is one line comes. The line says, Amantram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam anaushadham, ayogya purusho nasti, yojakas tatra durlabham. Every letter or every word has the potential to be a mantra, to free one from any impasse one is facing. Every word or letter has that potential to be a mantra. But if he does not know, or if he does not, if nobody tells him how to use the letter utters the letter or the word as a mantra, then the very uttering of the words and letters creates such a commotion, such a belligerent atmosphere, Speaking causes so much fighting and disruptions and dissensions and envy, all these things. So although the words and the letters have the potential to be a mantra, but if one is not shown how to use or speak the words as mantra, then the very mantras cause his bondage in this material entanglement. Every herb or root has the medicinal value, but if one does not know how to use the herb or the root, as a medicine, then he may still fall sick. He may have the access to all the herbs, but if he does not know how to use it medicinally, then he can fall sick. Similarly, every human being is a qualified being. To have a human species itself is a qualification, but that the potential of that qualification cannot be materialized unless one finds that bond with the person who is situated in absolute vision of the supreme destination. To what level one finds oneself connected to that person, at what appraisal, what level of appraisal we have developed about the most blessedness of that person, that will determine our destiny. If we have found uh, bonded with such a person, then time becomes not so critical, because then one gets the conviction that I am taken care of. I am destined to reach the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. It should not be like a mystery or something unknown thing or something a slow process or long process. No, it is the level of faith that will determine what level of perfection we achieve in this lifetime. Yadrishi Shraddha Siddhir Bhavati Tadrishi. So the person you associate with, the person you find your bond with, if you, at what level you appraise his fortune, hmm, you know. So your faith, your level of your faith will determine the level of your perfection. Other things become secondary then. So we have to make the primary thing as of primary importance, and other things, details, as secondary importance. But in the formal world, we are used to make the formalities or formal things or apparent things as more important, and the real bond with the person is not so important. You get the point? At what level the person may be the same, but at what level you appraise him, whether you are connected to the person at what level. Can I give one more example to clear this point?
Yes, please do.
Suppose you come across how would say, a well-to-do person, and you are also a well-to-do person. Suppose you are a millionaire, and you come across a noble person, and you think that you also perceive him as being a millionaire, correct? So millionaire is like a rich person, but as you associate further, you figure out that he is a billionaire. He's the same person, but now how will be your attitude towards that person? Will it change? Hare Krishna, Amanda.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Ah, sorry, I'm feeling really overwhelmed with emotion. You're as you speak, I don't know what's happening, but my heart is beating really hard and I'm crying and I just feel so touched by your words.
It's, it's still,
Thank you.
it's not. So the person is the same. At first stage, you thought that, oh, just as I am millionaire, I'm rich person, this person is also rich, so he's at my level, correct? But when you
Yeah,
find out that he's a billionaire, your perception will change, your attitude will change towards that person, correct?
yes,
Now, if you befriend that person, become close and bonded with that person, you can benefit from him as much as you perceive him. If you think that he's a billionaire, you can benefit from him at the billion level, correct? Just follow this
yes,
example.
Prabhu.
Now, as you associate further, you find out he's a trillionaire. Now, how would be your attitude now? Still, you can be in some calculation like okay, some like billionaire is like 1,000 times more rich, correct? And then trillionaire is 1,000 times more rich than the billionaire. That is the calculation in America. In Britain, it may be different. I don't know, but that is the within the calculation. But as we associate with the person more and find out about his more glory, you realize that even he does not know how rich is that person. Correct? Now, you can benefit from the person only to the level you perceive him he is at. Mm. So ultimately, in spiritual life, when we associate with the person, at what level we appraise his value. If you value him as a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, unlimited nair, unlimited nair is only God, Krishna. So one who is connected to Krishna in such bond, his value is unlimited also. So yojakastatra durlabham. No human being is unqualified to attain the perfection of his human potential in this very lifetime, but it will depend at what level he or she is connected or bonded with the absolute person who has unlimited value. The value of a pure devotee cannot be in comparison of monetary calculation. It is beyond the limit. He is perceived, if someone is perceived as the most blessed, then if we become bonded with him, then we can also become fully blessed. So that is the surest and the shortest way to absolute success. If we become bonded with a pure devotee, with our perception as the most blessed, then time becomes irrelevant. So until that level of appraisal is achieved, we may be still lost in time trajectory to becoming free from the lingering effect of time. Sooner we find that absolute bond with the absolute, or with the perception of most blessedness of someone, you know, that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I feel very, very honored. The experience that I'm having at the moment is very surreal, and what it's showing me is that these symptoms in my body, I'm shaking and is very strong. It's showing me that it's not to understand something on an intellectual level. I don't understand what's happening, but I feel something, and it's really powerful. And yeah, I don't really have words for it right now. Just thank you.
Yes, because we cannot afford to have the lengthy, uncertain, and we'll see in future. No, this is the in this lifetime, this is our opportunity to find our absolute focus, absolute bond, because we have wasted, we have uh, what is that word? We have procrastinated unlimited times. We need a guarantee, no? Guarantee, because without guarantee, we cannot be absolutely sure of our absolute success. So an intelligent person is one who, given the multiple options, is able to choose the best one. But the symptom of a conditioned soul is that when given multiple options, he or she inevitably picks the wrong one. So we need help from those who have made the uh, choice of absolute best option, absolute option. And if we can find such connection, then we will have the shortest and the surest way to absolute success. Write this down. Our position is so incapacitated, however insignificant, fallen, and whatever we want to call it, we have the potential to become connected, you know, to that mercy, where we can feel that we got the shortest and the surest way to absolute success. We need a guarantee. So there is a sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam for you, Amanda. It's 11th canto,
Yes.
chapter 20, slok number
Yeah.
7. You memorize that sloka.
7.
11, 20, 17.
17. Thank you.
7, yes. Chapter 20.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Nitai
Hare Krishna.
Anande Hari 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 Bol.
Oh.
Anyone else? Or we wind up?
Adbhut Shiguru, and amazing, very nice question, Shiguru, and amazing response, Shiguru. It's such a joy, Shiguru, to wait to hear your response. And it's like a Aflatun response, Shiguru, or what to say. Clear crystal, and doesn't matter, Shiguru, how lethargy, lazy, casual, or whatever I am, but I know you won't spare us, Shiguru. You will continue showering your mercy and just somehow coming across your Sakhi Shiguru. I will also get pulled in the chain of mercy, Shiguru.
Today we have covered just the peripheral aspect of this sloka. Its depth will come next sitting.
Next sitting is tomorrow, Shiguru.
Next Wednesday. Why tomorrow?
Our, we spoke with Anand Vigraha last week, and just like last Thursday, we did class on Gaura Purnima. There's one class remaining for Sikshastakam during the Gopi Git week.
Okay, you want tomorrow?
We can do next Wednesday, Shiguru, if that is more
Yeah,
convenient.
we covered the Wednesday which we lost a couple of weeks ago. We covered for this Thursday or Friday last. No? Like that. All right then. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
From the core of our hearts, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times in honor and love for our dear Shri Guru.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
राम राम हरे हरे
Ram,
प्रणाम श्री गुरु हरे
Ram,
कृष्णा
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna Shri Swami Matidastu.
Hare
Nitai
Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Hari Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Sri Guru.
Hare Krishna, welcome Shri Swami Matidastu.
From
See you in Kirtan.
the core of our hearts, we will say परम पूज्य श्री स्वामिनी कृपा मूर्ति श्री गुरु श्री भक्त गुरु गोविंद महाराज की जय।
Jai, Jai, Jai.
जय जय जय
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
हरे हरे प्रणाम श्री गुरु हरे कृष्णा
प्रणाम श्री गुरु हरे कृष्णा।
Nitai Gaur
Pranam.
Hari Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna, Pranam Shri Guru.
Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari 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 Bol. Hari Hari. Hari Hari.